This is Sophie oceanography project, and I decided to do my research on the Icelandic coastline. Just some general information about the geography of Iceland. Iceland is the world's 18th largest island. It is part of both the Eurasian and North American plates because it lies between the two. The island is 39,768 square miles, and 63% of that area is tundra. Iceland is part of the Mid-Atlantic Ridge and is located on top of a mantle plume, causing Iceland to be subaerial. Iceland was created by rifting and accretion. Most settlements are situated along fjords, or narrow inlets with steep cliffs created in a valley carved by glacial ice, which punctuate most of the 4,970-kilometer coastline. What you're looking at right now is basically the typical coastline of Iceland, called a fjord. So right here is the sheer kind of rocky cliff that's very typical. And as the camera pans out, you're going to be looking at the inland valley caused by glacial ice, and you're also going to see the rocky beaches, which are very characteristic of Iceland. And now the camera is zooming in on some of Iceland's most famous rocks, and they're famous because over the years they've just been carved out by the currents and by the waves, and over the centuries have made arches and little rock islands inside the sea. So fish are very important to the ecosystems of Iceland, and this is just a little graphic showing you the annual capture of marine fish. So about 1,982,344 tons of marine fish are captured per year, and 99,804 mollusks and crustaceans are captured per year. The Icelandic large marine shelf is also really important to its ecosystem. It's known for its subarctic climate and extreme environment. It has a fluctuating salinity and temperature year-round, making it a flourishing ecosystem, and that's because it has three currents that flow clockwise around the island, and the currents from the north bring in cool fresh water, and the currents from the south bring in warmer water, which really has an abundance of zooplankton and algae, which encourage fish to make that their home because they'll have lots of food sources and not a lot of competition. The plates on which Iceland is located are divergent plates. The divergence of the Eurasian and North American plates forms oceanic crust, or the Mid-Atlantic Ridge of which Iceland is a part. Scientists believe that Iceland rose from the seafloor about 20 million years ago, and continuous seafloor spreading widens the country by about 1 inch per year. 1/3 of Iceland is volcanically active. Where Iceland is not volcanically active, magma too deep down in the earth to surface sends heated groundwater up to the surface, creating hot springs, a tourist attraction that Iceland is famous for. You might be wondering why Iceland is so far north but not covered by ice and snow, and that is due to the heat that the Mid-Atlantic Ridge generates. At this point in my presentation, you're probably wondering if Iceland is part of an active or passive margin. An active continental margin is commonly the site of tectonic activity such as earthquakes and volcanoes. Active margins usually occur in convergent boundaries, but Iceland is part of a divergent boundary and is still considered an active margin because of the tectonic activity. Iceland is home to many animals. Whales are abundant off of the coast. Whaling used to be permitted but is now only practiced intermittently because whale watching has become a large part of Iceland's economy. It is common to see seals on the beaches of Iceland. They come here to sun and warm themselves while they're resting. Iceland's coast is also home to a few underwater species, such as Atlantic fish, sea stars, and sponges, who live happily among the seaweed and algae. In addition, Iceland is known for its many bivalves, including clams and mussels. Just recently, the oldest animal in the world was found right off of Iceland's coast. It was a 410-year-old clam. Many other clams had been found, ranging from 100 to 250 years old, but this was by far the oldest. Just imagine, when this clam was a juvenile, Shakespeare was writing his plays, and King James had just replaced Queen Elizabeth on the English throne. Scientists are intrigued to find out what makes Icelandic waters primed for longevity. The coasts of Iceland are filled with secrets of ancient times and animals and currents that are really important to the world's oceans. I hope you guys enjoyed my project.